Is that what you're doing? You're going to stay here? Yeah, okay. Hi, I'm Jasmine. You guys probably know that. You're on my channel. But today I thought it might be kind of fun to go through my bookshelves and organize my books and basically drag you guys along for the ride because I don't want to do it on my own because it's boring. So I'm going to force you guys to entertain me while I go through my books. And what I mean by that is I'm not really rearranging my bookshelves. What I'm actually doing is, you might remember watching this video where I talked about these book plates that I've been making. I was very excited to share them with you all. That project is very much still ongoing. So I have a stack of blank ones here, and I have a few that I apparently wrote a while ago that I'm going to have to figure out what books these are from and find the books for them to attach them to. And I'm just going to start going through my books and adding these to them. And it's going to take more than one session. And then once I've done that, I'm going to be rearranging my books because I'm thinking that by filling out these, I might get some inspiration for some different categories or like sections of books to have on my shelves. So yeah, I'm just going to make sure that I'm looking at the live chat so that I can see anyone who may or may not want to talk to me. This computer is incredibly slow, so I don't think this is going to be pretty. Let's see what happens. Everything is so slow. Live chat, there we go. Look, I'll even say a little hi myself. Hey, what the hell? Hello, no. Okay, let's just grab a random pile of books. Let's do it. Hi. Pile of books number 1. This is a mess already. There we go. Okay, and what I also need to do, which I did just say before, but I'll say it again, is find in amongst my shelves. I need to find these books. So at some point last year, I wrote down these book plates for some books, and then I just put the books back on the shelves and didn't actually put these in them. So now I need to see if I can remember, based on the description of the book, what it is, and see if I can find them again. They need to. Hopefully this fits the bill of, interesting people in other people's bookshelves as well. I know it's not really a standard rearranging my bookshelf. It's more like actually going through each of the books one by one. But if you have any questions about any of these, feel free to ask them, and I'm happy to talk about any and all books that I own. But let's see if I can at least start by finding some of these books. So I've got Impulse Buy when buying a present for siblings from my favorite bookshop, Brunswick Bound. I'll see if I can use this as an example, actually. I know it's going to be blurry, but essentially what I've got is, normally I add the date that I got the book here. This is whether it was a gift or a book that I bought. I usually write, this is supposed to be, it's not really a synopsis of the book. What it is, it's a summary of like my experience with the book. So if it was a gift, who I got the book from, like who I got the gift from. Yay, Julia, hi. The time difference is a really fun time, but I'm glad that you could come in and at least say hi for a bit and watch me struggle to figure out where all of my books on my shelves are. But yeah, this is like, if I got it as a gift, this would be who the gift is from. If I bought it at a festival or a signing or, anything like that, that would be where I'd write this to. And then also the same thing with like, this is kind of combined for how I got it and how I read it. So if I read it somewhere special or on a particular holiday or something like that, I'd add that here too. Also, I'm very sorry about the microphone strength because my poor laptop probably can't handle this. And then we've got my star rating, 3 words that I use as a summary, and I think that's the date that I read the book. So this is all the information I have to try and find these books. And this one, my story for this book is, that I bought it from a bookshop called Brunswick Bound when I was buying presents for my siblings. And the review is that it is thought-provoking and poetic, and that I read it in 2018. Oops, sorry, that wobbled. Glad to hear that the sound is good. That's nice. And also thank you for the wonderful compliments on my book plates. I'm actually incredibly proud of them. I did design them myself, which is why I'm here trying to put them actually in my books. Anyway, this one I think is going to be, where is it? It's over here. Somewhere. Where's it gone? There it is. It's up here. That's where it is. I think it's this one. I'm pretty sure that's it. So this is a little collection of stories that I definitely remember buying for Brunswick Bound. Oh, I wrote the date in it. Look at that. Bought on the 16th of August, 2018. And this says that it was read on the 21st of August, 2018. So that's definitely it. But yeah, this is a little collection of short stories that I impulse bought, and it actually is lovely. I do very much recommend this book. I gave it a 4-star rating. I think it was 4.5 actually, but I don't know how to draw half stars. It's paper, you can't have it. There's also a giant fluffy German Shepherd running around the house as well. So you probably see his face coming in and out of frame as well. So the only thing remains is for me to actually add the book plate to the book. We did it. We've added one book plate to one book. So next up we have purchase for a subject in my undergrad degree, read many years later, historical fiction with a twist. Okay, I know what that is. That's Fingersmith. That's got to be Fingersmith. Now, wait, there it is. Found it. Unfortunately, a lot of these books are going to be one book plate to one book. Such an accomplishment. Yes, this is the longest project that I have ever undertaken because making these plates, I basically printed them on A4 paper. I've cut them myself. I've attached like the sticky back to them myself and written them all. And it's a very boring project sometimes, so I'm very slow with it. Which is why I'm doing this part live at least, or some part of it live, so that I can talk to other people while I go through it, because otherwise I would just never get it done. I want to read the books instead of adding the book plates to them. Are you eating lolly wrappers? Oi, come here. Leave that alone. Leave it alone. Yeah, you heard me. Hey. Anyway, let me just add this one. That's 2. 2 down. I don't even want to talk about how many to go. Yeah, so this one, I did buy this for an undergrad degree subject, one of my literature subjects. I think it was called genre fiction, and we basically looked at 1 or 2 books from each major kind of genre, which is really cool. And then I didn't actually read it for that subject. I read it later. Hey, don't eat lollies. You can't eat lollies. I can hear the crinkling. I can hear it. He's found this. He is absolutely a silly pupper. All right, 2 book plates to 2 books. Look at us go. Thanks. Okay, this one. Discovered thanks to BookTube. Read on Kindle for Fantasy Adventure-a-thon. Found in a community library later that year. And the review is just gorgeous. That's all I've written for it. Okay, that's okay. I know what this one's going to be. I don't know which side it's going to be on. Also, in case anyone is interested, what's going on here with the shelves? Actually, I can move you so you can see that side as well. It'll just be a funny angle, but that's fine. Oi! No! None of that. Licking the table. So we've got this white shelf is mine. This brown one is my housemate's, and then the white one on the other side is also mine, which is why I'm like switching to try and find all of these books that I'm looking for. But this one if I got it from a community library and I read it for BookTube, it'll be The Golem and the Genie. And it might even be over here. No, I don't think it is. These are more historical books. I also have a pile of books sitting here ready for me to go through, but I'm just going to add these pre-written ones first. Full review never comes. Yeah, just gorgeous full review to come. This is what I do to my books. And to be fair, I did do myself a dirty because this review section is tiny. Like, there's not enough space for me to write a lot. The idea is just for me to write a couple of words relating to it. But I love that that's all I've written for this. There's no more details for you. And in fact, I think The Golem and the Genie is a book that I thought I was going to film a book review for on BookTube, and then I didn't. So yeah, good job me. Okay, there it is. It's right here. This is how chaotic my bookshelves are. Nothing is where it should be anymore because I've just run out of room and I need to buy more shelves. But this one, and just so you know, it is just gorgeous. That is 100% an accurate description of what this book is. It is truly gorgeous and I very much enjoyed it. And yeah, like I said, if you do actually want me to give even like a brief actual description of what some of these books are, if they interest you, or if you've never heard of them before, or if you have and you just want to know what I actually think of them, let me know. I will gladly talk about books until the cows come home. That's why I made a whole channel for it. 3 book plates. This one's a bit tricky because there's this flip, but it's in the inside. Cool do. I need to try and get this kind of done because my next project is going to be adding some library cards to my books as well. But I need to do the book plates first. I'm assuming that title sounds intriguing as for The Golem and the Genie. And it is, you know what? Let's give it, well, I'll tell you what it's about if I can remember. When did I read this? 2019. It's not that long ago. So what happens in The Golem and the Genie is that there is a golem, which is, I think it's a Jewish concept from memory. It's a clay, she's a clay woman who was created to be the wife of this man, and they immigrate to New York, and on the way there her husband dies, so she ends up being just this clay creature who was built for her husband who doesn't exist anymore, trying to basically find her life, make a life in New York. And then at the same time, parallel to that, a genie has also ended up in New York as well. So like genie being a genie. So, and then the two of them are running around New York trying to pretend to be just normal people. It's fine. Everything's cool. We're just like conceal, don't feel, don't let it show. But they spot each other at some point, like in a crowd, and immediately know that the other one isn't a human. And then the rest of the story is them kind of having this really lovely friendship based on the fact that they're not human in a world trying to be human or living amongst humans, and actually like they, you know, loving in New York and stuff like that. And then obviously there's like an actual plot to it that involves some drama and some evilness as well. But yeah, it's really, really sweet. And I really like the fact that it's that sort of combination of the Jewish folklore and the, I can't remember where the genie is from, but I think it's like Islam, or it's like a Middle Eastern thing. Like we've all at least heard of genies. So yeah, like this nice mashup of different folklore in historical New York. So it was lovely. It was a really nice book, and the friendship between them just warmed my heart. It was very sweet. Moving on to, I know what these are. I love that I know what these are just from reading my dumbass descriptions. This one, bought with a spontaneous $20 that I found in my pocket, read for a fantasy readathon. And I posted this on my Instagram stories when I bought it. That was why I remember I was like, I found $20 in my pocket. What should I do with it? Buy a book or buy groceries? And everyone was like, you should buy groceries. No, yes. Someone was like, you should buy groceries. And then I was like, no, I'm going to buy a book. And what it was is this one. The Assassin's Apprentice, because someone told me that I should read it. And then I read it for my fantasy adventure-a-thon that I hosted a few years ago now. God, time passes. Feels like only yesterday. But yes, I'm not going to give a synopsis of this one because honestly, I don't even remember it. I'm surprised I've rated this not 5. I haven't rated it 5 stars. I've rated it 4 stars. But I am surprised that I've rated it 4 stars because I kind of forgot it as soon as I read it. So I feel like that's more of a 3-star book. It's funny you should say that, Julia, because I actually am planning another adventure-a-thon. And if you wanted to co-host, you would be welcome to, because yeah, actually, look, I'll start working on it better and I will actually look into it properly. But I'm looking at maybe doing another, like a historical adventure-a-thon, because I've done Christmas and Halloween and fantasy so far. And so I kind of wanted to try and do a historical-ish one instead. And I'm looking into how to maybe make that work because it's a bit harder to have team mascots when they're historical, but we'll figure something out. It'll be fine. So if you're interested in getting involved in that, let me know and I will start working on that better. Yes, that's exactly why I was like, while you're in the chat, I got to tell you about this because it's like a perfect combo. And in the meanwhile, I'm waving around this book plate, which is, this one's a good one. And this one's sitting right here. This one says, saw it in a bookstore in Queenscliff, read the blurb but forgot what it was called. Boyfriend remembered what it was called and bought it for me as a surprise. Slow burn with a great concept, 5 stars, read in 2019. And that one is absolutely going to be the binding. This is exactly what I did. I picked up this book when I was in a bookstore in Queenscliff, which is just like a coastal town that you might go to for a weekend trip or something like that near Melbourne. And I read the blurb and I was like, this sounds so good. And then I put it down and I just forgot about it. And I didn't buy it then and I didn't keep track of the name so I could buy it later. So then my boyfriend had to look up what it was for me and bought it for me as a surprise gift, which is very sweet of him. So yeah, I still need to read the next book. This same author has just written a new book, which I got for Christmas, which isn't something that I should be saying just about. Like that wasn't really a just yesterday kind of thing. That was a days, months, half a year ago kind of thing. But that's how time be when you're in lockdown. But yeah, I still haven't read it, but I'm keen to because I did really enjoy this. So I have a feeling that the other book will also be a good one. I hope this is enjoyable for you guys, having me just go through my books. Just all of my books. We've gone through 5 so far. We're nearly through all of these ones though. I've only got 2 left that I've already written on. So then I'm just going to be going through the books that are sitting beside me, I think. But this one, Christmas gift from boyfriend, read on the plane to Perth. And then my review is just beautiful. That's all we have. But it's okay because I know what it is. And it's going to be this one, which was also one of my top 5 reads for, I think this is 2018 apparently. If you say so, feels wrong, but I'll believe you. But yeah, one of my top 5 reads for 2018, which I would have read at around the same time as The Binding, or in the same year as The Binding from memory. And I read it on the plane to Perth, which is about a 3-hour plane trip. That's all I do. It's just gorgeous, just beautiful. We've yet to come across a review that is just awful. Maybe there'll be one at some point, but it's not this book, that's for sure. I blame it on the fact that there's not enough room for me to write anything else on it. And this one, I don't think this is for a book yet. This one literally just says part of 21 books for 21 years. And then it doesn't have a review or a date read or anything else. So honestly, that could be any book. And it could be any book from this shelf here because this is where I keep all of my books that I got for my 21st birthday at the moment. So like pick a book from this pile, and that's what this can be for. It's not for anything. Also, here's a delightful pile of random books as well, just sitting on top of it, which I'll have to go through too. And so I ended up dying, crushed by piles of my own books. Maybe. Oh, it's definitely going to be this one, because this one I did read, and this one was awful. Yeah, I've already got that one in there. Here we go. Here's Wuthering Heights, and here's my review. Not for me, wannabe goth. And when I say wannabe goth, I don't mean me wannabe goth. I mean they wannabe goths. So, good job. Do any of these? Yeah, lots of these have them in them already. So that's going to make this a bit easier. I'm looking for one book on this shelf that doesn't have a sticker in it, basically. It's not going well so far. Is it Hemingway? Nope. Hemingway 2? Nope. The Kate Bush song is always for everyone at all times. It's just the book that is definitely not for me. Personally, I don't think it should be for anyone, because we all know that book opinions are objective, right? Not subjective at all. Oh, every single one of these has a thing in it. Did I just make an extra one by accident? This is my pile of 21 books. And what this is, in case you're interested, is that my grandparents and my parents combined together for my 21st birthday and gave me a gift of 21 books that they think I should read. So all of them are classics, basically, but they're like part of the concept of books that you should definitely read before you die or read as an adult. And they gave me, 21 of them, 21 of their favorites, hopefully. First read in grade 3. Oh, that's a bit weird. All of these have stickers in them already, though. So what's this one supposed to be? We do just have a spare sticker for no reason. I'm going to have to put this down there. I'm going to have to start this pile again. This is getting a bit dangerous. 21 books for 21 years. It's not the Scarlet Letter. Must be one of these ones. No. This one. It's this one. We found it. It looks like it might be the Poisonwood Bible. That one as well. There we go. It was a really lovely thing to do. I talk about it a lot on BookTube. Like, I think I mention it almost every few videos, or like I mention it quite a bit, because it's just, it's probably the best gift I've ever been given. And being able to look at this shelf that is now empty, that is filled with these books from my family, and know that I can pick any one of those books to read, and know that they chose it for me and that they care about me and things is also really lovely too. And I've read a few of them so far, not all of them, because that's a lot of books to go through, and they are all classics, so you kind of need to space classics out with other stuff, but I've definitely read a few of them. So far, so good. But all of the rest of these ones, I think, except for that one, apparently the Thornbirds doesn't have one in it either, but the rest of these have actually already got stickers in them. There was just one that looks like I didn't actually stick it down and it fell out. Oh no, 2. That one doesn't have one either. I'm genuinely going to get crushed by books soon. This is scary. There we go. Although that being said, I don't think I put any in these ones because these ones are a bit too special. Oh, I did. Wow. Immediately disproves myself. So these ones were also part of it, and these ones are Folio Society ones. Yeah, the stack is making me nervous too. Don't worry. It's okay. It's going back on the shelf now. this one have one? I just want to check that they all have stickers and then they can just go straight back on the shelf because they're already done. Yeah, they're all good. They're good. They're fine. So they can go back. Oh, there's still a Christmas star. I'm doing really well here. I think it says a lot about me as a person that there are still Christmas decorations on my bookshelves. Now, there's absolutely no rhyme or reason to the stacking of these books on this shelf either, other than that there's a bunch of editions that are the same that are at the start. These 4 here. The rest of them are just kind of random. That's fine. There we go. And then there are 2, I think. 2? 1. 2. I put the other one back. This one. 2 more that I still need to write the stickers for. So excuse me while I write a very half-hearted attempt at a sticker for these 2 books. When did I turn 21? That's a real question. What does this one say? Tell me when my birthday is. He's 14. Okay. Gift. Part of 21 books. For 21 years. From my family. And then I can't write anything else because I haven't read it. So I think this is a good example that it's like a combination. Which one? Which shelf are you looking at on this one? There's what have we got? This one is George Eliot. That's Middlemarch, if that's what you're looking at. And the next big one, this is Dickens. That's Tolstoy. That's Steinbeck. This one's Margaret Atwood. So, yeah, this biggest one is Middlemarch, yeah, which I haven't read yet because it's pretty intimidating. It's huge. I will do it eventually, but not right now. There's a reason why this shelf was done first, is because it's actually really easy to write these ones. I don't need to think too hard about where I got them from. It's just an entire shelf of writing the same thing, basically. The rest of them are going to be a bit more tricky. Part of 21 books for 21 years. My family. I think I've actually read The Catcher in the Rye. I don't remember when. Oh wait, no, I've already got a sticker on that. That's fine. But I think this is a good example of the fact that my little story section is about both how I got the book and also how I read it, because I usually leave quite a bit of space in there for me to write when I actually read the book as well. So I've only got like 1 line to talk about how I got it, and then I've left some space for me to talk about what life was like when I actually read the book, just in case something really special happened, you know? You never know. Maybe I read it while crying and eating candy after a bad news or something. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to remember that. Anyway. Do you guys like to remember when you read books as well? Like, do you know how like people talk about how you can listen to a song and it reminds you of a place or a time or something like that? Do you guys have that for books too? Or for anything else? Movies? I don't know. What else is there? Video games? Art projects? Anyway, that's it. That's the final 2. Also, these ones have this really cute bookplate that my mum already made for me as well, that were already in the books on my birthday. It says, "To our dearest Jazz, happy 21st birthday. Lots of love from Mum, Dad, Zoe, and Alex." And then she's also got some quotes that she's added to. And there's a different quote in every book that she included in the 21 books. So that's not in like all 21 books, because the ones from my grandparents don't have them, but the ones from my mum definitely do. And that's because my mum is about as sentimental as I am. And I'm just gonna put you there. Sorry that you're not organized. Maybe another day. Oh, and this one. There we go. One shelf done. We're really speeding things up here. Now we get to go through some other books. This one isn't mine, so I can't write in that one. I need to give that back. I don't know if I should bother putting the book plates in ones like this, because I don't even know what this book is. I just bought it for the aesthetic because I thought the spine was pretty. So I can write that, but I can't write much else about it. And I definitely don't remember when I bought it. I definitely remember Jean Craighead George's My Side of the Mountain during a particular time during my childhood that was very tough. Yeah, I totally sympathize with that. I think I've got a few books that I definitely remember very, very vivid times with. I'm going to leave The School for Scandal for now, because I've never heard of it. And I don't remember when or how or where or why I bought it. We also have a rabbit-chewed copy of Fantastic Beasts that I actually bought for my brother for his birthday years ago. And then my mum told me that he already had a copy, so I just kind of kept it. So I guess I'll write that down. That'll be fun. I don't know if that counts as gift or bought, when it's like I bought it as a gift for someone else, but I don't remember when, but that's fine. Excuse me while I write some words on paper for a while. I'm not going to give this one a review or like a when I read it, because it's just Fantastic Beasts. I don't think it needs that. I also am not sure that it deserves that right now. So, there you go. Property of Jasmine McManus. I also don't know where to put it on my shelves, because there's a lot of that happening. Aw, this. This is, yeah, what I'm currently going through is the handful of books that was currently just like shoved in the gaps above this stack of books here. So all of them are basically books that don't really fit any of the categories on my shelves at the moment and that I don't know what to do with. This one, for example, is collected works of Edward Lear that I bought from a secondhand bookshop, I think earlier this year. Maybe it was last year. I remember the shop and I remember who was there. I just don't remember when it was. And as far as when I read it, I mean, I haven't read it as an adult. I just remember that I've read it as a child. Lots of them. Is Edward Lear something that, is that an Australian thing? Is that? No, published in Great Britain. Okay, not an Australian thing. We're good. Anyway. I will write on this one too. I wonder if I can remember the name of the book shop. I don't think I can. That's fine. You're being very quiet now, Mr. Milo, over there. I'm very impressed. Has anyone else ever had that weird feeling where like you read a book as a kid, you don't really remember or pay attention to it, and then you like read the book again as an adult and you just get like this like crashing feeling of deja vu when you're like, I've read this before? Because that's happened to me more times than it probably should have. I've genuinely read books as an adult and been like, I've been here before. I've done this before. And it's a very weird feeling. There we go. Edward Lear is done. Don't ask me where it's going to go on my shelves. I don't know yet. I'm just adding it to the pile for now. The other stack that's happening slightly further away from the camera, so you can't look at it and get nervous. I think this one's already been done. Yeah. Apparently it has sticky tape on it, which is a bit odd. But this one has already been done. 7 or 8 Deaths of Stella Fortuna. Yes, that's definitely what happened to me. Particularly with the chrysalids is an odd one for that to happen with. But the chrysalids is a book that I do remember now that my grade 3 teacher read to us, like read out loud to our class. And I think he skipped over certain darker parts of it, but he did read it aloud, like chapter by chapter for us. And I forgot that because I was in grade 3. I would have been like 8. And then as an adult, I got given it as part of this 21 books for 21 years thing. So I was like, cool, I'll read that. That's a classic that I want to read. So I read it. And then I was like, I know this story. And I had to like sift through my memories to figure out how and why on earth I would know the chrysalids already, when it's not really a book that I should have read as a child. So yeah, there you go. There's one. The Enchantress of Florence. Don't cry. It's okay. I'm like, yeah, I remember that, and then read it and realize I remember none of the details. I mean, that definitely happens to me as well. Especially more so nowadays. Nowadays, I'm hopeless with remembering anything. You probably couldn't even get me to tell you what happened in a book that I read last week. But yeah, that's that weird feeling of deja vu. I don't remember anything about this book. I don't remember when or where or why or how I got it. I think I got it from... No. This is why I need to do this more often, because otherwise I let too much time pass and I don't remember where books come from. I'm just going to set that one aside for now and see if maybe I can like steep on it for a little bit. But the next up on this particular pile is Homegoing. And let's see if I remember when I would have got this. I know I did a review for it. I bought this in my first year on BookTube. And I think I bought it because of BookTube. Possibly even for a readathon. Or maybe just because it was a new release at the time. I think it would have been for Diversathon. I think I bought it for that and read it. And then it was 100% one of my top reads for the year. Which, if you haven't read, do read. It's good. I think that's what happened. Maybe I'm just making up random extra memories. I don't remember the date though. When did I start BookTube? Was that 2016? I think that was 2016. It'll be in my YouTube history. Let's see what happens if I sort by oldest videos on my YouTube channel. It's really sad. All right, my channel. Videos. Date added, oldest. I know it was like one of the first 20-ish books that I read, did things for on BookTube. Illuminate, Beauty and the Beast. Homegoing, 4 years ago. Are you going to give me a date or are you just going to tell me that it was 4 years ago? There we go, 27th of May, 2017. Okay, not 2016. That was when I read it though. That doesn't really help. Hi, what do you want? What's that? Come here. You can come say hi to the people. Come this way. Yeah, look. Look up here. What do you want? You want some food? Do you want to go back out in the hallway? I can open the door for you. Will that help? You want something from me? I can't give you snacks. You've already had breakfast. Silly. Come on, why don't you go out in the hallway? Right here. Is that where you want it? Hallway? You want tug? I don't know that you do though. I don't think you know what that means. Why don't you go on my boyfriend? Yeah. Bye. Silly papa. Okay. Oh, you're back. Now the real question is, what should I add for my ridiculously undescriptive book review for this book? It's got to be just something, right? Just good, just awful, just great, just powerful, just gorgeous, just stunning. You're back. You didn't want to go in the hallway. You just want to annoy me. Yeah, that's cool. Hello. I'm just going to start by saying that I bought it because of BookTube. And I do remember that I read it mostly at work on my breaks. I don't know what to write for the review. Powerful. How many stars did I rate it? Surely 5 stars. 5 stars. There we go. I'm just writing nonsense. Don't you go barking at strangers. Hey. I can see you getting hyperfixated on something. Leave it alone. Another book on the pile. Hi. The Sin Eater. This one I read last year. Do you remember why I bought this? No, that's okay. Homegoing was definitely a great book. Have you read her next new book? I have seen it around, like in bookshops and things, that she's got another book out now, possibly 2. I stopped paying attention. But yeah, I'd love to know if anyone in the crowd has read it, because I would probably like to give it a go. I definitely really enjoyed it. Oh my God, none of those were words. I definitely really enjoyed Homegoing is what I was trying to say there. Okay, I definitely know that I bought The Sin Eater. I know that it was an impulse buy. I don't remember anything else about it. Did I buy it because of BookTube? Did I buy it just because? I don't remember. I wonder if the secret lies within my phone somewhere. The answer. Was it 2020? I think it was 2020. What are you doing out there? 19, 20. I'm just going to have a quick look at my reading tracker for the year and see if it holds any secrets as to why I bought this book and read this book. I think it was because of NetGalley. I get the vague feeling that that's what happened. United States, non-Major 2020. Hannah Macmillan, historical fiction. Yeah, it was a NetGalley one. That's what it was. Cool. So this one was, I read it on Kindle-ish, I guess. I read an e-version of it as an advanced reader copy on NetGalley, I think. Don't remember. And then I liked it enough that I ended up buying a print copy of it. Is that this one, or is this? I'm just going to look at the first page because there are some memories coming back to me now. And I actually think, yeah, okay, I know what happened with this book. I got an e-version of this as an advanced reader copy, and the file for it was absolutely corrupt, and all of the sentences kind of like overlapped and were in the wrong order. And I was enjoying it enough that I tried to read through that for a while, and then I ended up giving up and just buying a print copy so that I could actually look at the pages. That's what happened. I remember now. Good times. Anyway, this was a good book. It wasn't my favorite. I don't think I rated it 5 stars, but it was a very good book. I'm so glad that I finally figured out what happened with this book. And now I'm just going to write it down. So talk amongst yourselves for a while or something. I'm sure that the writing part isn't very interesting for you guys to watch. I'm sorry about that. But it's definitely helping me get through slightly more books than I would have on my own. Now, the real question is, when did I read this book? When did I read this book? My guess is June for some reason. I seem to do a lot of reading in June and not much in other months. Yep, June. Good job. Good guess. I'm not going to add a date because I don't remember. We can just say June 2020. And I think it would have been a 4-ish star read. 4.5 probably. So I'll round that down because otherwise every book will look like a 5-star read. There we go. Another book plate bites the dust. Hey. It's just people doing people things. It's not worth barking at. Yeah, they're hammering. It's fine. They're allowed to hammer. Don't like that sentence. I wish I hadn't said that sentence. Oh. I can't believe I bought this book. It's fucking massive. This one I bought as an impulse read, which I haven't read yet. But I impulse bought this the same time that I went to the bookshop to buy this book and also this book. So there's that. And I've read 2 out of 3 of those books. But not this one, because it's huge and intimidating. I don't remember when that was. I don't think it matters too much. I haven't left enough room for me to actually write about when I read this book. Maybe that means that I'll never read it. That's it for now. What makes me impulsively buy such a large, intimidating book? The cover. I looked at the cover. I read the blurb. It sounded interesting. Usually when I see a book that I think is pretty in a bookshop, I'll pick it up and I'll read the blurb. And if the blurb and everything looks like it's kind of interesting to me, then I'll usually look on Goodreads as well and see what people that I know have said about it, if anyone has said anything about it. Because Goodreads Goodreads reviews, like as a whole, like the average rating doesn't really indicate to me whether or not I like a book, but I do trust the opinions of the people that I follow on BookTube and therefore follow on Goodreads. So I think a few people, or at least a couple of people that I kind of knew had said good things about the book, said that it was a good read. So I added it to my pile just in case I end up actually reading it at some point. Yeah, but usually I just write books because they're pretty. Oh, I already have one in this one. I didn't check properly. This one actually already has a sticker in it. God damn it. I just wrote a sticker for nothing. This one didn't, did it? No, I would have felt it. And the sticker already says that I impulse bought it because the cover was pretty. That's okay. Right. Last one on this pile is The Other Bennett Sister, which might already have a sticker in it. It does. Received as an e-arc on NetGirly, then bought the physical book anyway. I didn't write down when I read it though, which I know I did. I think it was July. July 2020, I'll say, read while visiting family in between lockdowns. What a fun year 2020 was. Heartwarming, romantic, retelling. Yes, good. And a solid 5 stars. There we go. So this one already had a thing in it, but I hadn't updated it because I have actually read the book now. So I just did that as well. And that is one pile done. So the reason why I'm really curious to do this, where I'm filling out the books and thinking about when and where and why I got them, is because I'd really like that to influence how I store my books on my shelves. I'm really hoping to kind of compile some more unique, like, collections of books, for lack of a better word. So rather than having it set up by genre or by author or something like that, I think it would be really interesting to have all of the books that were given to me by perhaps a particular friend, or like this with the 21 books for 21 years. Like, I'd like to have my shelves separated by things like that, which at the moment I can't really do because I've only done one shelf of books to sort of look at, but just thought it might be interesting to share that that's kind of what I'm trying to do here, is go through these books and add these details to them and start thinking about when I got them, when I read them, how they, stuff like that, and see if that can interest me into compiling some interesting shelves. I just said interesting twice. For example, all of these could go on a shelf together as books that I've impulse bought from the same bookshop, of which there are many more. Like, this one particular bookshop is notorious for making me spend far too much money on books. Stuff like that. What else do I have here? When did I buy you? Oh, the Clunes Book Fair. There we go. See, yeah, like, this was a book event that I went to, and I bought quite a few books there as well and stuff like that. Like, I don't necessarily think I'll have enough of any kind of like bookshop to maybe compile piles of them like that, but I think it would be interesting to think about. And maybe there'll be some interesting categories of books that I can do. I'm just going to put these ones back on the shelf and grab another pile. Hey. Something else was in that pile as well. I could probably add the Golem and the Genie there, actually. Oh, no, I can't. It's the wrong height. Can't do that. It's wrong. Doesn't match. What should we do next? Maybe we'll look at this shelf up here, actually. Let's look at some fantasy. Sorry, that was loud. Oh, kind of fantasy, and then some other books that just happen to be the same height. There we go. If you thought the other stack was scary, this one is scarier. Hi. Hello again. Yeah, there's lots going on, isn't there? Hmm? What's that? What do you need? My little fluff munchkin. Hmm? What's wrong? What's wrong? Are you just confused because lots of things are getting moved? Yes, Chronicles of Narnia is here. This is an odd selection of fantasy books that I've bought as an adult, and then some childhood favorites that have just been kept over the years. Case in point, this one already has a book plate in it, and it just says, I don't know, man, I've had it since I was a kid. That's all I've written. Hi. Actually, a lot of these will probably have stickers in them already. Yeah. Maybe I've already done this shelf. Certainly starting to look like I've actually already done this shelf, so. Did I do this one? I don't think I would have been comfortable doing this one because of how pretty it is. Yeah. Oh, I could still stick one on the front. Okay, so that one hasn't been done. 2 of these, 3 of these already have been done. I'm just going to see if I can separate out which ones I've already done from this shelf and which ones I haven't. The Very Giant is blank. I'm not sure if I've done Strange the Dreamer and stuff. I have. Nice. Pretty sure I'd have done these ones as well. Hey, what are you up to? Whimsical and magical. Is this one being done? Yes. What have we got here? 6 of Crows. Crooked Kingdom does have one. It's just in one page. This is going very well. Currently, I'm missing. No, I'm not missing King of Scars. Oh, I am missing 6 of Crows. I've got Crooked Kingdom, King of Scars, Rule of Wolves. That's what's happening here. Rule of Wolves doesn't have one yet because I only just bought it. No, don't bark at the strangers. Leave them alone. This file's getting bigger. This is good. Most of this shelf is fine. I even have American Gods has a sticker. Book plate, it's not a sticker. Troy does not. There we go. Most of this shelf has already been done. Clearly I did some work at some point on this project. Now, I don't think I can stand up like this. So, I'm going to have to figure something out. Okay. All of these can go straight back on the shelf. This is the one shelf that is kind of already organized, which is my fantasy shelf, I guess, of which I tend to buy hardcovers when I can. And thankfully, they're all the same height, so they can stand up here on this shelf and look pretty together. And that includes a random selection of childhood fiction. These are my childhood fantasy, or middle grade fantasy-ish books, I guess. And then, for some reason, it also just includes American Gods, because why not? Kind of fantasy. I mean, it is technically fantasy. It just doesn't really fit the same vibe as everything else that's up there at the moment. And then we have 4 books that I still need to write things for. Yes, Narnia. Narnia is there. I haven't reread those books in a while. I feel like I probably should. They're nice to re-dive into as an adult from memory. Okay, Troy. I love that, like, there's an entire shelf of books up there. You know, most of them are pretty popular fiction books, and then everyone's like, Narnia. Narnia is the only thing we care about. Everything else on that shelf can get wrecked. For example, why is no one screaming about Del Toro Quest? That's what I want to see people yelling about. Narnia is fine, but Del Toro Quest is better. Oh, that's probably an unpopular opinion. That might get me swayed. Okay, I know I bought this last year. Would have been December-ish. November? December? November. Bought a copy for Mum and a copy for me. Sorry, now I'm being quiet. Forgive us for being normies, as the kids say. I fucking knew it. I might be wrong, but I think that Del Toro Quest is an Australian thing. I know that the author, Emily Rodda, was an Australian author, so I suspect that it probably didn't travel beyond Australia very well, but these are amazing books. So this here, it's in one like volume, but there's actually 7 books in here because it's a 7-book series about, I can't explain. They're so good. And if you ask anyone from Australia, they will say the same thing. Like, everyone in Australia, this is one of their childhood books, like same as the Chronicles of Narnia. Like, it's one of those books that everyone knows from primary school and from reading it in primary school. And that's another set of books that when you reread them as an adult, they're still just so good. So good. I wish I could explain. I wish I could explain why and how they are good, but I just don't have the words. They're just good. And I think another reason for me personally why this is awesome is that there's 3 main characters and one of them is actually called Jasmine, and that's like the only time that I've come across a book character with my name. We need to work on that. Julia, my Australian media cultural knowledge starts and ends at Blinky Bill. That's rough. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of Australian cultural media in general. I feel bad for saying that. But Del Toro Quest is worth it. I'll see if I can find a way to get you to read them, because they are very fun, lighthearted childhood books. Anyway, I haven't finished writing about Troy. Odyssey. And I can't write a review yet because I haven't actually finished it. This one. Challenge accepted. Yes, good. My job here is done. My friends will be thrilled. Really, every time. And this is how you can tell that it's an Australian thing versus an anywhere else thing. Because you guys looked at that shelf and the first thing you spotted was Narnia. But every time I have people over to this house for dinner or for anything else, the first thing they spot is Del Toro Quest. So I think that says a lot about the culture of Australia, or just the fact that they're very much an Australian cult classic of some kind. I don't know. But they are very good. The thing that I remember the most about them is the puzzles. There's always like little puzzly, riddly things they have to solve to get out of like life-threatening situations, and they were actually really clever. And even rereading them as an adult, there were puzzles that I couldn't solve. That might just say more about the laziness of my brain nowadays. This one was a bought. This one was earlier this year. When did Rule of Wolves come out? Does anyone remember? 21. I was going to say the second book in the King of Scars duology. There's not really anything else to say about it. Like, I didn't buy it for any particular special reason except that I wanted to keep reading the series. Read very quickly and with a lot of exclamations. Sorry, I'm sure this part isn't very fun to watch. I've already said that, but I maintain it. I think this one was a 4-star read, 4.5-star read, so I'll just keep it at 4 stars. The only thing I don't remember is when I read it. To Goodreads. How long have we been here? An hour. I might maybe stick around until 11-ish, which is another half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour from now. And then I will go and actually eat breakfast and stuff because I haven't done that yet. Those desperate request covers. Are you looking at the original ones? But the spines, see if you can find an image of the spines. That I do remember. This is definitely the one that I'm looking at here is a copy that I bought as an adult. But I, as a kid, would have had those the original covers, and they just, you can tell they're from a particular time, right? Like you can tell what year they're from. They're just, there's like a certain time period in the history of like middle grade fantasy that just had outrageous covers, and these ones definitely fit into that. When did we read this? 24th-ish of April. Which means I would have bought it at pretty much the same time because I read it immediately. Yes. I remember being so excited about those spines because the whole point of the story is that this is going to sound so dumb. It's so hard to explain these things and make it still sound as compelling as it does when you read it. But there's a magic belt. And the magic belt has magic stones on it that helps protect this land, Deltora, from, I don't know, evil shadow monsters, because the villains in these books don't really have any shades of grey. There's a big evil country, there's a not evil country. The not evil country is trying to protect itself from the evil country using the power of the magic belt, which got broken. And they have to go and find each of the 7 stones to put back in the magic belt. And the spines of the books has the belt down it, and each book adds 1 extra stone to it as you go through the series, which I think, while not necessarily the most exciting thing in the world, is hilarious. In the meanwhile, the dog is going crazy in the background. This one was a book that I bought. When did I read The Buried Giant? All I remember is that it killed me and that I've never been the same since. Was it? I feel like it would have been 2018-ish, maybe. Also, I'm very glad that you love that because I certainly do. They're good books. They're just good, fun books. And it sounds silly to say that they're about a magic belt, but you know, when you're reading it, it's fine. It's good. If you can hear any scuffling in the background, that is Milo playing with his toys now. He's decided that he doesn't want to nap anymore. He wants to destroy things, which is fair enough. Surely I didn't read it after Swimmer Among the Stars. Before? After? I think I did. No. This has got to be out of date or something. Out of order. Oh no, there it is. 2018. March 2018. Genuinely am still not okay after reading this book, and it has been years. 19, 20, 21, three years. Still recovering. You right there? Ripping things apart. In fact, that's what I'm going to write for my review of this book. You don't need to know what it's about. You just need to know that I'm still not okay. Read as an audiobook for a very short-lived book club. I don't think we ever got through one book in this book club. Cried for weeks. Bought hardcover because I needed to own it. There we go. Another book. Not. I can't word. I'm really struggling to say words here. Another book plate done is what I was trying to say. Read as an audiobook for a very short-lived book club. Cried for weeks. Bought hardcover because I needed to own the book that destroyed me. Review, still not okay. 5 stars. Reminds me of all those TikToks going around of book readers being like, this book, like they're just crying and throwing things and just being miserable, and then it's like on the review, 5 stars. Loved it. 10 out of 10 would let it destroy me again. There it is. I do love this cover though. Isn't this pretty? Such a beautiful version. And it has these beautiful end papers with the little map. I'm sure the video quality is awful, and I'm sorry for that, but it's there. So I've had to put the book plate on the next page in because I can't destroy those end pages. I want them to stay just as they are. And then we have A Monster Calls, which I know I've read because of BookTube, also way back in my first years. I'm hoping that that reaction is in response to the very giant cover because it's so pretty. It's such a beautiful edition. And I'm thrilled with it. I think we need to go back to 2016 in order to get to The Very Giant. Definitely read it. It would have been around when the movie was being released, so there was like a re-hype about the book. Yes, yes, that. Me too. I was destroyed. Yeah, I think what happened with this is that I joined BookTube at around the time when the movie was being released. So everyone was talking about it again, like it had a re-hype moment. So I was like, okay, I guess I better look into this. And so I bought the movie edition because I wanted to, I don't know, to have extra illustrations and things. And yeah, I mean, we all know what it's like. It destroys you. It's a very powerful, very well written, but also just absolutely destructive book. I went too far. Now I'm back in 2008. That's not right. Mannery Road, Big Thief, Between the World and Me, Illuminate, Homegoing, Beauty and the Beast, Hobbit, Heartless, Monster Calls. There it is. July 2017. Excuse me while I write on a book plate again. And then another shelf will be done. We'll have done 3 shelves together, which is pretty good. But problem with doing, like, some of the more recent ones, I definitely have more specific memories of what I was doing and what life was like when I was reading them. But looking at these ones from like 2017, like I read it in winter, and that's all I really remember. Which is why I'm kind of excited to have these book plates more up to date going forward, because I like the idea of being able to open my book and be like, this is the exact book that I read, in this cafe or with that person or on this particular holiday with my family or with friends or, that kind of stuff. I think it adds to the personal experience of reading a book, and the fact that no one ever reads the same book as anyone else because we all have different experiences while we read it. And I think that these book plates kind of help capture that. Anyway, back to writing book tube. This is me trying to remember any details about when I read this book, except for the fact that I cried. What 3 words would you use to review these books? Seeing as everyone's laughing at me saying just gorgeous and just good, please do share how you would review these books in this tiny little space of paper, which was designed exactly for that. I did design them because I don't want to write a full book review here. I just wanted to be able to write a quick little. These are the first things that come to mind when I think of this book. There we go. Last books for this shelf. Maybe we'll do like one more little shelf, and that'll take us up to an hour and a half, and that will be just in time for me to go and force my housemates to have brunch with me. It's just occurred to me that the monster calls should probably be with the rest of the middle grade-ish section. Maybe I'll swap these around. I don't know if you can even see this shelf. You can't, can you? No. There we go. It's the very top of my bookshelf up there. I'll do this so you can see it. There it is. Also, the pile of Game of Thrones books is my housemates. A heart-wrenching tale, or I love crying. Yes. No. I mean, that's pretty much exactly what I wrote for The Berry Giant, so I totally relate to that. Maybe what I'll do now, just to finish us off for this particular session, and I'll probably try and do this, I don't know about next week, maybe the week after, but I've got a lot of books to get through, so I'll try and do this a few more times. But for now, I'm just going to grab all of the more recent books that are kind of sitting on top of other books in my shelves, and we can go through those ones, and that'll do. I hope. 1, 2, 3. What else have we got here? Excuse me. I think I've already done the lots of changes. Honestly, there weren't as many of these. Oops, sorry, wobbly. There weren't as many of these as I thought there were going to be, but here's a little selection. And that'll do. Go through them and then we'll be done. First ones on this pile are these two. That wasn't a very good way to hold up these books. There they are. These are my treasury of folklore books that I bought recently. I bought this one as a part of a very large selection of books about witchcraft and folklore. And then I found this one in a bookshop like a couple of weeks after I bought all of these online and was like, that's the next one. So I bought it as well. Just in case anyone was interested in my story of how and why I ended up with all these books in my life. I could have sworn I'd already done this one, but clearly I'm imagining that. Oh, I think I'm thinking of the British folklore book, which is still in my bedroom. Which means I guess eventually when I organize these, I will have to put them together. Like this is a pretty good selection of books to have on a shelf together. Also, yes, aren't they gorgeous? I love these covers. The weird thing about these two books though is that they're by the same author and they're at least somewhat clearly the same kind of book. Like they have that scroll of paper telling you the title of the books and stuff. But then this one has the metallic stuff all over it and this one doesn't. And the spines are completely different. And it just kind of, it baffles me that they're like so close to being obviously the same series of books and then also not quite close enough. Like, where does that come from? How does publishing, man? I'm literally studying it and I still don't understand it. Large collection of books about me getting distracted halfway through a sentence to talk about book covers again. Anyway, if you are interested in folklore, this is a really lovely read. And it was very quick. Like I'm pretty sure I read this in an afternoon. Like I finished work, picked it up and just read it and was done before bedtime. It was remarkably easy to get through, even though it actually has like full pages of text and things. It's just really interesting. Like basically what this one does is it just gives you a summary of all of the different folklore beliefs in different areas of England, separated into kind of sections of life. So it has like all of the ideas about love and marriage, all of the ideas about death, all of the ideas about different seasons and harvest and things like that. And it just tells you everything. So it doesn't go into a lot of detail, but it just kind of tells you this is the reason why people don't believe in doing stuff on Fridays or something like that. And it was really cool to read about. Especially as someone whose grandparents are actually English and who does have a strong interest in trying to connect with that sense of ancestry, I guess, or like heritage that I technically have. It was really cool to learn about some of this stuff. Stars. Quick. I ran out of room. When did I read that? Like a few weeks ago, maybe. Goodreads. Truly, Goodreads is the only thing holding me together with some of this stuff. Because I don't remember, but Goodreads does. 8th-ish of June. Which means I would have bought it almost exactly on that date, because I'm pretty sure I just read it as soon as I got it. Here we go. What else have we got in this weird pile? Lots. We have lots on this weird pile. I don't know how to organize some of these books. Some of them it's pretty obvious. It's like, here are all the folklore things, and here are all the books that my parents gave me. Sorry, getting messages about plans for this afternoon after lunch-ish. Want coffee first. All right, back to it with folklore. Second book. What did I say about this book? I've already forgotten. That I saw it in a bookshop immediately after buying the previous one. That's right. And I haven't read it yet, but I'm sure it'll be basically the same as the other one. And that would have been later in June, I guess. I don't know. Let's say the 20th of the Junes. I don't know. And I haven't read it yet, so I don't need to do that part. I hope this is at least a little bit interesting for you guys. I really am so grateful to you all for hanging out with me for a full hour and a half while I just talk about my own library. I really appreciate it, just oversharing all of my book stuff. Ariadne! Oh no. I know I bought this at Dimmicks in the city. I don't remember why I was there. I was with Catherine and Jackson, who were my housemates. I must have been doing something to the city, in the city, because we don't go anywhere, because we're not allowed to. This was very relaxing, and I love getting a peek at your shelves. Thank you. I do also enjoy getting to see other people's shelves, which is why I'm so sad that I missed out on your streams, Julia, which I know I do not blame anyone, and you deserve to do the streams when you want to do the streams, but it was still very sad to be like, no, the books, I don't get to see them. You guys are so lovely. I appreciate it. I do that too. And I especially do that because of when I used to run my tea business, and I'd try and write Instagram posts that would be like, do you want a sneak peek at something? And I'd try and spell them the same way because it feels like they should be spelled the same way, but they're not. It's okay. I know what you mean. What on a trip to the CBD with my housemates. Read, I don't know. I read it on a trip. Pretty much all of these books, you'll notice, are books that I have read when visiting my family. And that is because I am terrible at reading when I'm at home because there's so much going on. And then I just like take a pile of books and I go and visit my family and I'm like, cool, good to see you guys. I have to go and sit and read for a while because it's the only time I get to do it. I feel so bad because they're like, hello, we haven't seen you for months. You want to talk to us? And I'm like, no, I must read. You don't understand. I don't do any reading in the city. And this book is another one that I read while I was visiting my family. Read while I was visiting my family for, I don't know, it's not really winter, and it wasn't really Queen's birthday. I'd say late Queen's birthday because we couldn't go on the Queen's actual birthday holiday. I will also say had to distract myself immediately afterwards. Have any of you guys read Ariadne yet? I know that this one's a big popular one at the moment. Like, well, not at the moment because I'm always slow on the trends. Like everyone else is here, and then I'm like, oh look, a trend. Like several years, well, not sometimes years, sometimes months afterwards. But I know that this one has been going around a bit recently. On your TBR, picked it up in June. Yeah, that sounds about right. See, you and me were the same. It's exactly what I did. If/when you get to read it, I would love to hear your thoughts on it, because right now I feel like I'm the only person who has read this book who feels the way that I do about it, which is it's a very messy feeling that I have. So yeah, let me know when you read it. I want someone to actually talk to about it rather than just like random Instagram comments. Also, thank you very much for your lovely message about the aesthetic of my content. That means a lot to me, especially at the moment, as I'm sure you guys know, because every video that I post at the moment is basically just me being a Debbie Downer about the state of my channel, and my emotions about my channel. So stuff like that just fills my heart with joy. Back to writing about stuff. When did I read this then? Goodreads. What would I do without Goodreads? 27th of June. I don't remember when I bought it, but it wasn't then. There we go. Read while I was visiting my family for a late Queen's birthday. That sounds like a weird sentence. Had to distract myself immediately afterwards. Review, I just don't know, 4 stars. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this book. I'm so confused. It's so pretty. Such a pretty book. And then it left me feeling so conflicted. Oh, you guys are so kind. That's coming from you, who was also possibly the most aesthetic queen I've ever seen. That's truly lovely. All right, next little pile of books here. So pretty. They all have stickers on them, which I am raging about. But as you can see, as the stickers say, these were bought as part of a 3 for 2 deal. And these are my most recent impulse buys. I bought them a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, I bought them all together because it was a 3 for 2 deal at my favorite bookshop. So we have The Housekeeper and the Professor, which is actually a book that has been on my TBR since like my first week of BookTube, I think. One of my very earliest BookTube friends posted a video where she was talking about reading this book, and also On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. Those two, I remember them, and I added them to my Goodreads wish list then, and still haven't got around to actually buying or reading it. But I saw this and I thought that this edition was quite pretty, so I bought it. I also have Mr. Loverman by Bernardine Evaristo, because I also have Girl, Woman, Other somewhere on these shelves. So when I saw that there was another book by her, I figured I might as well get that one too. And then I also have On Earth We're Briefly gorgeous. So most of this is a TBR inspired by that one BookTube friend who isn't even on BookTube anymore, with an extra book thrown in because it was a 3 for 2. Hairdryer and the stickers, and they come off like magic. Perfect. To be honest, I don't hate these stickers. Like, yeah, they're there. They're orange, but it's kind of cute that they all match the covers. Like, they actually kind of go with all the covers. So I don't hate them a lot, but they're still stickers. No, don't chase the cat. Leave him alone. Hey, Milo, you'll get in trouble. Good boy. Come here. Come here. Yeah, hi. No, don't. Fine. Go to the cat. See if I care. Anyway. I don't think there is a bigger honor in the world of a bookworm than to have your recommendations actually be on someone else's recommendation list. Like, it's like my work here is done. That's all I came onto this earth to do, is to convince other people to read the books that I love. And even if you never read them, the fact that they're on your on your Goodreads list is already just like, yes. I posted a review of The Once and Future Wishes on my Instagram the other day, and someone was like, well, I've added this to my TBR now. And I was just like, vindication. This is all I ever wanted. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. He doesn't want you chasing him. No. Stop it. Excuse me while I deal with pet chaos. Milo. No. One of you needs to go outside. It's going to be you. Off you go. It's the most common occurrence of my life, is dealing with the pets and the fact that they don't like each other. We have a cat, we have a dog. They're doing exactly what cats and dogs typically do, which is not enjoy each other. All right, I've got 3 book plates here for these 3 books. How are we going? Not too bad, hey? I'm going over time. I said I was going to be done by 11, and I'm not. It's because I keep talking about books instead of writing about them. All right. Add it to my Goodreads list. I do really like looking at these. I mean, obviously I do. I don't think I need to say this. It's pretty obvious that I like looking at my memories and talking about my memories about books. That's why I have an entire collection of book plates dedicated entirely to that. But apparently I felt the need to tell you guys about that again. Added to first week. I don't have any room to talk about when I actually read this book, because I've just written my story of why I bought this book instead. But oh well. 1. At least it's quicker when I haven't read the book, because I can just write the first part and ignore the rest of it. See, now I really want to keep these 3 books together because of the fact that I bought them together. Don't know if that necessarily makes sense, but also because of the fact that they kind of look good together. So stuff like that, Cool. Now the cat's scratching things. We've just swapped one chaos nugget for another. Do you want to come up here? Come up here. Come on. You know you want to. I can see it in your little cat eyes. Hey? Here we go. Here's the chaos nugget. There you are. Look. Hi. Hello. What's up? You gonna sit on my lap? Or are you gonna leave again? It's up to you. not read, so I don't need to write any more for that one. Trying to speed through some of these final ones. I spend so much time collecting books and absolutely zero time actually reading books. It's definitely an entirely different hobby to reading. And I haven't read that one either, so I don't need to write any more for that one. Now I will ever so briefly stick these in, and I think that'll do. These can be the final 3 books for this particular session, anyway. Excuse me while I delicately try and maneuver around a cat to put book plates in my books. You're not making this easy for me, just so you know. Next time I print off a batch of book plates, I'm gonna have to figure out a better way to get around this. So at the moment, I have to cut them all out and add, I'm using double-sided tape on the back of them to stick them in, which is fine, it's working, but it's just so time consuming and there's gotta be a better way. So I need to look into that. I need to look into whether there's any sticker paper, like peel off sticky paper that has a nice texture to it or nice color to it or something that I'd actually like. Because these ones I've bought because they have, probably can't really tell, but it has a parchment texture to it, which is why I printed it on this particular paper. It's because it has a slightly vintagey feel. There we go. Final one. This one's another flippy one. And that'll do. I'll put these back on my shelf later. You guys have been wonderful. You've been really good company. I've really enjoyed this. Like I said, I still have a stack here of more book plates and shelves full of more books. And I also have this little envelope, which is filled with a bunch of book plates that I haven't cut out yet as well. So there's plenty more to do. So I would like to do this again sometime. Let me know if that's worth it. If you would like for me to try and do this again, maybe in a couple of weeks. Maybe I'll try and do this like every fortnight-ish until it's done, and I will. But yeah, I'm gonna sign off now and go and have some breakfast. But I've already said it, but you guys have been wonderful company, and I really appreciate that. So I hope that you have a lovely night. I'm assuming, because you guys are not here, and I will see you guys soon. Much love. Now we